Today's video is dedicated to Casey McClara. Thank you, Casey. Maelstrom Wanderer versus Lord Windgrace, and I've just reinstalled the client here, so we've got baby cards. Yeah, need some ramp really, as opposed to a fistful of lands, so we'll mulligan that one. Oh, and this is one of the rare occasions in which I'm being punished for running Temple of the False God, so... yeah. Gonna get some gloating in the comments for that one, I'll bet. Okay, so we'll have to ditch a couple of cards here. Let's just do that. And keep our fingers crossed, I think. Not holding out much hope against Lord Windgrace. Oh well, our opponent had to mulligan down to 5 as well, so I don't feel too bad about that now. We'll get the Sulphur Falls in tapped because I might want to shuffle some things around after the brainstorm, and we can use the fetch to do that. And of course they've got Sol Ring, so already a couple of turns ahead of us. There's our Worldly Tutor. We could set up going for a Sakura Tribe Elder with that. Let's go for the Brainstorm first before we make any decisions. And with that we put back Mosswort Bridge and the Cyclonic Rift, I think. Then we can go Verdant Catacombs. We will get an untapped land here so that we can go Worldly Tutor at the end of our opponent's turn. And now we've got fresh cards on top of our library as well. More fast mana in Mana Crypt. They're not doing too well on the colours, but I dare say in the Lands Matter deck they'll be able to search them up. Well, Prismatic Omen's pretty frightening, but again, if they don't have the lands, well, there's one. Woodland Cemetery down to 2 cards in hand. One more and they can get Lord Windgrace going. So let's go Worldly Tutor. I'll actually go in for the, what is it called? The Wood Elves here, I think. So drawing into that, of course, that can be a mountain. Drop the Wood Elves. And we'll get the Tricycle land into play here, I think. Yeah, even after we get this land and the Chromatic Lantern into play, we're still not quite close enough to Maelstrom Wanderer for my liking. And they do have another land, so yeah, they'll be able to start triggering Valakut and using Cabal Coffers and all that kind of thing. They discard and draw 2 because they had yet another land in hand. Oh, alright, and that is a really good top deck. If our opponent's going to get into fast mana, then so are we apparently. So it'll be City of Brass. Don't think we can go for our commander. No, it's 8 mana, so we'll be shy. So we'll have to go for the Chromatic Lantern here. And then we can slam down Maelstrom Wanderer next turn, hopefully. Swinging at Lord Windgrace, so that it's not quite getting up towards the limit break there. Minus 11 on that. Wow, our opponent's getting into everything he needs here. Ramming out Excavator, so playing that land that he just discarded. And I don't think he went for... yeah, didn't go for a plus or a minus there. The one downside of Lord Windgrace, if there are any, is you have to discard a card. It's not a May ability, so sometimes you don't even want a plus with Lord Windgrace. We get into Elvish Mystic, which is obviously more mana for us. But thankfully they didn't blow up our Chromatic Lantern, so we can go for the Mana Vault into the Maelstrom Wanderer. Get pinged for 1 by the City of Brass, but we will Cascade first. And that is a Croson Grip, so we can blow up their Prismatic Omen is more important, I think, because there's all kinds of combos that you can do with Prismatic Omen. Either that or Sol Ring to take them off mana, but we don't have too many cards in hand, so we'll take them off a combo. And then it is a Bloodbraid Elf, so not the best Cascades there, but we'll get another Cascade. And we will be able to deal some decent damage to Lord Windgrace here. That takes us into Spoils of Victory, which is more ramp for us. So we'll just get ourselves into a Breeding Pool tapped, I think. Not playing around the fact that our opponent might play Blood Moon because they now don't have the Prismatic Omen. So I don't think they'll be wanting to slam that down anyway. Okay, Pyroblast. I actually don't mind that because we're going to be able to just recast the Maelstrom Wanderer next turn. Are we? Oh no, it'll be the turn after, won't it? So we'll untap the Mana Vault and then try and do that. We did get into a little bit of mana during that turn, so we'll try and hit their commander. If they want to trade Raminap, that's fine with me. Keeping the Raminap Excavator in play, as I assume they would. So letting Windgrace get hit there, and let's see if they get bolted by the Mana Crypt. They do not. So their good luck continues over there. Deciding to tick up this time, going for the discard. And discarding an Animate Dead, that's a curious one. So I'm not sure what their aim is with that. Maybe just reanimating Prime Time and stuff like that. Anyhow, 3 cards in hand still. Not doing too much of anything. We are going to put the mana into the Crypt. Or the Mana Vault even, not the Crypt. And yeah, glad I did that because we just get into a land anyway. So we'll drop the Dork, drop the land, show our opponent that we're empty-handed. And we'll swing in towards the Windgrace again. So if they take a hit on Windgrace now, they can't go for the -3. But they don't have any lands in the graveyard anyway, so don't imagine they'll care too much about that. Not dodging the bolt from the Mana Crypt this time. Plussing on the Windgrace, they do get to discard a forest this time. So going up to 5 cards in hand, plenty of mana. And they can of course play the land from the bin with the Ramunap Excavator, but decide instead to go for Maze of Ith, which is, yeah, that must have been one that they just drew into. That should hold the Maelstrom Wanderer at bay. We'll give all of our creatures haste though, so hopefully we can get into some decent ones. And there is Underworld Dreams, so I'm guessing there's a combo that they're going for with that. You can use this and the one that has someone draw half their library. So it's round to our turn, we get yet another land. Obviously we drew into that, so that is 1 damage to us. Let's replay our commander. And we can actually do this without tapping down the Mana Vault, so we won't have any colours available to us, but I don't think that's relevant. So recast the Maelstrom Wanderer. Getting into Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. And a Crystal Shard, so that is, yeah, we could tap this down with the Mana Vault, ready to recast our commander next turn. Not doing too well on the Cascades, unfortunately. This might become relevant next turn as well, because we can Biorhythm on our opponent. Anyway, let's try and get some more damage through on Lord Windgrace, make them tap that maze. I'll actually take the Maelstrom Wanderer through to my opponent. And then the Bloodbraid Elf can go in there. They might be worried about the Biorhythm, so I won't swing in with the Shaman. And they put Maze of Ith to keep themselves from taking any damage there, as you would expect. Throwing away the Ramunap, so it might be that we've got a board wiping coming. Plussing on the Windgrace again, that gets up to 6 loyalty. Again, they have got themselves into a Tiger. Won't be able to play that out of the bin now that Ramunap's gone down. They do need a board wipe here really, or at least to get into a creature, because, like I said, the Biorhythm will be relevant next turn. Yeah, and there's the Damnation, as we assumed. So let's return our commander back to hand. And they've managed to successfully deal with Shaman of the Forgotten Ways. And then it's a life from the loam for our opponents, so they get a forest and the Tiger back into hand. And they'll be able to dredge next turn if they want to. Playing the Tiger for the turn, it looks like they've got something else for us. That is a Birds of Paradise, so they'll be able to save themselves some damage next turn. One from the Maze of Ith and another from a chump block. Not going to bother with Mana Vault this time. Get ourselves into even more ramp in Sakura Tribe Elder, so just go straight into our commander here, I think. Might have the other red counterspell, but we'll still get the Cascade. Getting to a Birds of Paradise of our own. These are probably some of the worst Cascades I've ever had in this deck. But we can go for the single blue with the crystal and just do it again next turn. Bribery ought to be really good. Let's see if they do have that Primeval Titan. I say it every time, but I like Bribery in 1v1 or, well, in any game of Commander really, because you can look through your opponent's entire library. I can show you all what our opponent has in their entire library apart from the 3 cards they've got in hand at the moment. So there's Prime Time, they've got Obnixilis. Yeah, I think it's the Prime Time, that's really good with haste. So we'll certainly start searching for some lands. Go for the Yavimaya. We can go Wasteland as well. Yeah, Wasteland gets rid of that Maze of Ith. And then we are attacking... yeah, let's attack our opponent with commander damage again. They can only take 3 hits from that. We'll take the Prime Time into their commander. That will be a one-shot. And of course we can search with Primeval Titan again. Why it is unbanned in 1v1, I do not know. So I think Temple of the False God is okay now, and why don't we try and get a little bit of advantage with Mosswort Bridge. Hideaway card Mosswort Bridge, we do have enough power in play for that. So hopefully we can put something decent on top. Apparently not. Mystical Tutor I quite like. If we can Cascade, which we will be able to next turn. So yeah, let's do that. And then we'll be able to... I've put some new cards in the deck, and there is a sorcery that we can Cascade into that allows us to draw 7 cards. So that is a really good thing for us to Cascade into, and we can put that on top with the Tutor. It's noteworthy that the Avamaya coming into play has made it so the Maze of Ith can tap for mana, which might be relevant. I couldn't remember if I had any Forest Walk in the deck. That's why I went for the Avamaya. Maybe shouldn't have done. So untapping the Primeval Titan, they're trying to save their Lord Windgrace, and it looks like they're keeping the Birds of Paradise, so taking 7 Commander. Again, dodging that Mana Crypt. It might be that they have Homeward Path. We've got Homeward Path in this deck, so they might have it in theirs as well, with it being Lands Matter. That might get them the Primeval Titan back. Plussing on Windgrace again and again, discarding that Forest. They got the Forest back into hand from Life from the Loam, so they might just do that over and over again, although they have not dredged Life from the Loam. Bazaar of Baghdad, draw 2, discard 3. They've only got 4 in hand, so that will be disadvantage for them, although they will get to look at more cards. Plus it can tap for green now, like I said, thanks to the Avamaya. Maelstrom Pulse, destroying the Primetime. Yeah, we can't do anything about that, so we'll allow it. They do have Reanimation in the deck, as we saw before, so maybe we've done them a favour by pulling it out of their library. Yep, Reanimate. It will cost them 6 to do that, but they'll get to search for some lands, put them onto the battlefield tapped. Now, of course, Glacial Chasm. Well, we've got the Wasteland, so what we'd ultimately like to do is destroy Lord Windgrace and then blow up the Glacial Chasm. But yeah, good old Field of the Dead might ruin all of our fun here. Anyway, they have to sacrifice a land for the Glacial Chasm, so they get rid of the Bazaar of Baghdad. And Field triggers a couple of times. So that might be the difference in this game. Only 2 cards left in their hand, but Field of the Dead and Primetime is enough to do it for them. And then a Duress to look at our hand, see if there's anything to worry about. They are not going to be able to get rid of Sakura Tribe Elder with that. And the last card in their hand is a Farseek, so that will trigger Field as well. So some kind of evasive creature is what we need here, really. Oh, and bit of lag there, so I accidentally passed when I shouldn't have done. Could have saved myself a single piece of mana. Hopefully it doesn't matter. Alright, Old Gnawbone can get rid of... Well, it can knock down Lord Windgrace enough to where it can't get back the Field of the Dead. Or we could just go straight in at our opponent at this point, really, couldn't we? Yeah, I don't suppose we necessarily need to worry about Lord Windgrace. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. And it is 15 to cast both Old Gnawbone and Maelstrom Wanderer. So yeah, I think we can do that. Although we'll have to... Oh, but this is where it's relevant that I didn't bounce the Maelstrom Wanderer last turn. Ugh, that is really annoying. Yeah, the client's really laggy, so it's just one of those things that we have to put up with, I'm afraid. We'll get Old Gnawbone into play here, though. And then let's go Sakura Tribe Elder. We'll shuffle our library around before we go for the Mosswort Bridge. Yeah, that's really annoying. I could have had both Old Gnawbone and Maelstrom Wanderer in play. Although I suppose we couldn't have connected with Old Gnawbone thanks to the Maze of Ith and Glacial Chasm being in play. Yeah, we're just setting up for next turn, I think. We'll go for the Mosswort Bridge. We can do this at instant speed, I think. Yeah, we can do this instant speed, so we'll cast the Mystical Tutor, bounce this next turn, and then we can hopefully draw 7 and get into something relevant. We'll just hold back both of them, They'll potentially lose life to Mana Crypt and Glacial Chasm, so yeah, the Glacial Chasm will encourage them to sacrifice it. They dodged the Lightning Bolt again. They've been really lucky with that Crypt. Yeah, what they can do with Glacial Chasm is reanimate it with the Lord Windgrace. That does encourage them to tick down with it, though. They do only have one card in hand, but they've got everything in play that they need, really. Do we block with Old Gnawbone here? Let's see what they do with Prime Time first. And go for Suva. That, yeah, I was going to say that normally goes onto Field of the Dead, which it does in this instance. They've got themselves a Petrified Field as well. Return a land from graveyard to hand. That is tapped, thankfully. I doubt they've got any kind of minus or burn effect that they've just top decked into. So we'll get rid of that Primeval Titan. And then Mazavith getting tapped down, that's really good as well. To protect their own Primeval Titan. So I'm guessing they're going for the minus on Lord Windgrace to get the Glacial Chasm back, but we can blow that up. It doesn't have Shroud or anything, does it? Yeah, we can go for that next turn and deal a bunch of damage to them. Oh, they have dredged. I didn't realise that. Yeah, they've dredged Life from the Loam at some point. They've got Badlands, the Snow Forest and Black Sun Zenith in the bin. So that's what they dredged before, and now they're going for... That was Baghdad, Badlands, and the Mazavith, or Glacial Chasm, back into their hand. So playing the Glacial Chasm, and they sacrificed a basic land, triggers more Field of the Dead, and then returning some lands with the Lord Windgrace. That is a forest, and a Snow Forest. So just trying to trigger field as much as they possibly can here. And at the end of the turn, let's return Maelstrom Wanderer back to our hand. And we just draw into yet another land. So we'll go for the Maelstrom Wanderer. I will hold control to hold priority. Done it a bit of a backwards way, actually. I could have gone for the Mosswalk Bridge before bouncing the Maelstrom Wanderer, but I don't think it matters ultimately. So with the Cascade on the stack, we go for the Mosswalk Bridge. Oh, and I actually completely... Oh wow, I can't believe how much I goofed that up. Oh my god, I messed that up entirely. Yeah, I've got it in my head that we can just Mosswalk Bridge. Yeah, I've got it in my head that we need 7 power for some weird reason. It's 10 power, but by some stroke of luck, couldn't cast the Mystical Tutor, but we've just cascaded straight into the Overflowing Insight, which is what I was going to tutor for anyway. So, yeah, really ridiculous play mistake by me, but we do get to draw a bunch anyway. Underworld Dreams will punish us for drawing a bunch of cards. Wow, I can't believe I just did that. Alright, and Cascade again gets us into the Cogler, and we can shoot the Birds of Paradise out of the way with that. So we've just cascaded a bunch. We can go Kiki Jiki, get another... No, we can't get another Old Gnawbone in the way, unfortunately. Yeah, if we could have swung an Old Gnawbone in, that would have been really good. Don't have enough evasion here, unfortunately. Did our opponent have any kind of evasive creature? I don't think we could go E-Witness into Bribery anyway. 1, 2, 3... Yeah, we couldn't do that anyway. So in that case, we'll just go E-Witness. And we'll have a bunch of treasure from the Old Gnawbone, so... I took the Inferno Titan out of the deck, so we can't get into that with the card draw spell. Maybe should have kept that in. We'll go E-Witness onto that. I can't remember what cards they've got in their library, but... Yeah, we'll get rid of the Glacial Chasm with the Wasteland, and then swing in our opponent. We can actually blow up... Yeah, they're going to go wide on us next turn anyway, so we'll go in towards their commander with that, and we can blow up the Underworld Dreams. Might be that they go down to the Mana Crypt, but it doesn't seem likely the way this game has gone. Throwing a zombie in the way of the Cogler, they should probably gang up on that, although they need to make sure they've got enough to go wide on us next turn. So yeah, just throwing a single zombie in the way of that. Old Gnawbone triggers, we put our opponent down to 1. Get a bunch of treasures. And now we can go for Avenger of Zendikar to block. Really wish I'd paid attention to what they had with Bribery now. Oh, they've actually got up Nixilis, haven't they? We can't play another land here, but we can take that up Nixilis away from them. Yeah, let's do that. We'll play out the Great Henge for a little bit of life first. Bribery on our opponent. Yeah, there's a Zeuser, Findhorn Elves, Ob Nixilis is the one to go for, I think, because target player will lose 3 life. So we'll go for that. We will get a plus counter on that and draw a card. Can't play one of these lands, unfortunately. But I wonder if we could get into a Kodama's Reach or something like that. We'll try Preordain. Try and win this turn if we can. No, Findhorn Elves and Mana Reflection won't do it. Bottom and bottom. And just another land, so we'll have to hope that we don't die next turn. Have to hope that our opponent gets bolted here instead. And they do, right, okay, so their luck finally ran out there. Yeah, big props to my opponent for playing that out, because it didn't go too well for either of us in the beginning. We both had to mulligan down to 5, so we had slower starts, but yeah, we fished their own Primeval Titan out of the library for them, and then they decided to reanimate it and just go crazy. So yeah, that was a pretty lucky one for us, because I did completely goof on that fast tutor. Yeah, I can't believe I did that. I'm going to kick myself over that for a while. Should have gone for the tutor whilst we had the big creatures in play, and then bounced the Maelstrom Wanderer, but yeah, completely lucked out there. So hopefully you all enjoyed this return to Maelstrom Wanderer. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.